So Ant Financial, it's the most valuable Chinese financial technology company by far, reported $60 billion valuation. A financial affiliate of the e-commerce giant Alibaba is a mix of Citibank, PayPal, E-Trade. It's hard to categorize it all rolled up into one, but it's a big player in China. Now it's looking for global expansion in a recent hire of a former Goldman Sachs exec. Joining me right now from New York's Bloomberg News reporter Selena Wang, who covers the company for us. And here with me more to focus on this Chinese market is Cheryl Cheng, who's a partner at Blue Run Ventures. I'm glad to have you here, Cheryl. But I want to start with you, Selena. Talk to me about this Ant Financial deal. Can you try to explain for us what this business is? Because you're right, it is a collection of all these interesting kinds of businesses in the U.S. all rolled up into one in China.
Yeah, Corey, as you mentioned, this is an enormous company. It's $60 billion, yet somehow it's really, really hard for U.S. investors to wrap their heads around this company. It doesn't really fit neatly into one of those fintech vertical buckets. But a good way to think about it, so it started out as the kind of PayPal-like online payments processor for Alibaba, China's e-commerce giant. Since then, it's evolved to include services like My Bank, this private bank, Credit Sesame, a credit scoring company, one of the nation's largest money market funds, robo-advising, and it eventually spun out into its own company, and it's now the financial affiliate of Alibaba, and it's gearing up for an IPO as well.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting too, Cheryl, let me turn to you, like the notion of payment systems in China. You know, in the first block we talked to Bill Gurley, and he talked about how we're at a point in the marketplace there where people may never have this experience of owning cars and things because this market is sort of superseding that. That's true with mobile in China too, and it strikes me that payment systems have a different importance there.
Absolutely. So mobile was a leapfrog technology for most people in China. Blue Run has been investing in China since 2001, and we saw that because most Chinese can't or don't own PCs, whereas a lot of Americans and people around the world in developed countries will own personal computers both for work or for home. The smartphone was the computing device. So what follows with that is mobile payments, other ways to do transactions that here in the U.S., quite frankly, we trail that because we have traditional credit cards and we had payment methods from the internet days that we continue to use.
Selena, when we look at Ant's hiring of a Goldman Sachs exec, does this mean they're trying to bring the West east or the East west?
So Alibaba and Financial, they're not alone in poaching from Goldman. Baidu and Tencent have been doing it as well. They recently did hire Douglas Fegan, who had been at Goldman for more than 2 decades, to spearhead international expansion. Spoke to him in his first interview with the media. So what he called Ant Financial's international strategy is a 2-pronged approach. So the first prong is following the Chinese consumer. So that means going wherever the Chinese tourists are going. They have some 450 million users. They want to make sure that whatever country they go to, wherever they shop, dine, that they can use Alipay to pay for that. The second part of that strategy is going local. So that means partnering or acquiring local brands and working with them. For instance, they recently did a deal with Paytm, which is one of India's biggest transactions platforms.
Cheryl, you're nodding your head.
I think that's a smart strategy.
Because?
Well, it's just like the conversation you were just having about Uber, right? When one company is domestic from one country and wants to go to another country, you need to adapt to whatever's happening in that new culture. So hiring somebody who's local is very important. If Alipay wants to come to the U.S., they need to hire people who understand everything from regulation to how consumers here in the U.S. transact to even how small businesses accept and do their payments. So having somebody local and building a local team is critical.
Does that mean that you as a venture capitalist, when you look at Chinese deals, start thinking about who is this person connected to? Are they going to be able to make partnership deals? And that's more important than it might be in any other kind of investment?
Not necessarily, because we invest in early stage. So Blue Run is Series A primarily. So at that stage, even though you have visions for world domination, they're not going to happen with your Series A money. What we do think about and what we do look at is vision. So does the entrepreneur have the vision? And where we try to add value is how do we bring a company from their home market to a global market. So similarly, when we invested in Waze, it was an Israeli company, and we thought you really need to come to the U.S. and address the U.S. market. How do we help you do that?
So how'd that work out?
That worked out great.
I think that worked out pretty well.
It was okay.
I've heard of this Waze. Cheryl Cheng, partner at Blue Run Ventures. Thank you very much. And Selena Wang of Bloomberg News, of course, thank you very much to you.